Greg, today the UCI announced that it was stripping Lance Armstrong of his 7 Tour de France wins, his results from 1998, and also giving him a lifetime ban. What's your reaction to that?
I think it's the appropriate thing to do. I think that it is putting an example that nobody's beyond reproach, that everybody has to play by the rules, and I think it's a big step for seeing cycling kind of change the culture and move on to a better and new future.
It's probably something that's not only for cycling but for sport in general. It shows that it should be done cleanly.
Yeah, I think it's. This is such a big topic, and I think a sensitive subject for so many that that I think if what is true that has been taking place had gotten away, let's say this group had gotten away with it, it would have been the biggest setback for sports. And I think it's an incredibly important day for all sports, and specifically cycling, to reevaluate the way it manages its sport, the way it does the doping controls, penalties, and it's a time for transparency and openness.
Do you want to see structural change to the way the sport is organised?
I would love to see Pat McQuaid and UCI, and I don't want to get into picking them apart because there's some stuff I've said in the past that had reference to past actions. What I'd like to hopefully see Pat McQuaid, and I would hope that he would look at this time as a way to go, everything's open. We need to look at it from scratch. There's a lack of trust within the cycling community and the governing body. Be transparent, open the books, open the doors, reevaluate how the board is, how it gets elected. And I would be if I was recommending to Pat, I would be the first one to volunteer to say, well, let's bring in the very best experts. Let's bring back Michael Ashton. Let's bring in WADA to create a USADA type entity for Europe, where the doping and the penalties and all the controls are separated from those who are governing the sport. It's cooperation, but there needs to be an arm of multiple interests that prevent any kind of errors like that just happened in the last 10 years. And it needs to be very clear cut.
Do you think this is a pivotal point for the sport? That the changes need to happen now with having such a big case. You think this is, okay, it's a tough time, but do you think it's also a good opportunity for cycling?
It is the most critical time in cycling's history. It is not another festina. It's not just another scandal. It is the time. And we had this chance in 1998, and the sport didn't seize upon it. And we've continued to watch a sport that has so much potential keep eroding, and the sport still has so much potential. All it needs is the trust needs to be brought back with the cycling fans. And I do believe I read Daley Thompson, his comments is that the governing body and the sport itself is separated so much from who really loves and follows the sport. We got to get this governing body and the racers and the organizers need to get back to connecting more with the people who really are supporting the sport. That's the people who buy their racing license, who buy their equipment from manufacturers that watch the Tour de France. They are part of the sport, and the sport needs to respect them. And I think it's critical right now.